All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is the REI Success Maker, Marcel, here with another Freedom and Wealth Seekers podcast. We're on episode 22. Unbelievable. We are approaching 30 consecutive episodes. I'm super excited about that. Folks, I tried to connect YouTube today. It did not work for whatever reason. I'm going to figure it out by episode 23. That's a big number for me. My favorite NBA basketball player, Michael Jordan, wore that number throughout his career. And that's going to be a special episode. So we're looking at episode 23, which is going to fall on June the 1st. June the 1st. Who knows? We may have a special guest. I may go live before June 1st, as I am working on the best friend of the icon that I had the pleasure of meeting many years ago. He contacted me today, just following up from our last podcast. I've been consistent, in pursuing this personality, and it looks like I'm making some progress. He texted me today saying he was going to call me at some point this evening. I had a couple of missed calls, so we'll see. I got to check my voicemails. So we just came off of a amazing Rehab Mastery 1. We sold 9 seats. There was 1 seat left. Again, you all knew the price was going up to $24.97. Maybe next time you'll be able to grab a seat, but the information that was shared was very impactful for all of our attendees that attended Rehab Mastery 1. We are going to be doing a follow-up special training just for you with all of the speakers in attendance. You will be receiving an email in regard to that Zoom. Most likely that Zoom will take place on a Saturday morning or Thursday evening. We will keep you posted. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. I'm going to run down the lineup shortly here. It's great seeing folks. Folks, make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Also, during the podcast, during the launch of each podcast every Wednesday, feel free to share the Zoom link with your colleagues, your friends, your family members. We are looking to grow this community. I actually, we're going to see, I'm going to be very transparent with you all. So the average demographic of our subscriber is between the age of 34 and 65. Recently, I started a TikTok account, and I ran a small campaign on TikTok. And if you all recall, when we first launched on YouTube, I said one of my biggest mistakes was shutting down my YouTube in 2012 and moving on my content over to Vimeo. Well, I've been talking to a lot of my buddies in the business, and they were saying, Marcel, you have to get on TikTok. And I know why. I know why. So I ran a small campaign on TikTok, and the numbers on the video that I promoted were just astonishing. I'm going to go to my TikTok now. And if you're not on TikTok, jump on TikTok. It's for everybody, but mostly the young folks over there. So I ran 1-day promotion to a video. This is the video here. Okay. 20,000 views. 20,000 views and 5,800 likes. Now, this isn't even on the agenda, so this is like bonus training right here. I'm not even excited about the views and the likes. Well, I am excited about the views, but the likes I'm not really excited about yet. But I'll tell you why I'm excited about this. I have a business account with TikTok, and I was able to see the, let me see if I can pull it up, the analytics. I was able to see the analytics of my last campaign. And this was my first campaign that I ran. And I'm going to share them with you. So it says gender 45% male, 55% female. Age, this is where it's huge. This was huge to me. Age 13 to 17, 56%. Age 18 to 24, 36%. Age 25 to 34, 4%. Age 35 to 44, 2%. Age 45 to 55 plus 1%. So I take a lot from this. Number one, I look at these numbers and I'm like, in 10 years, those 13-year-olds will be 23. In 3 years, those 17-year-olds are going to be 20. In the next 8 years, they'll be 25, right? Around that time between 23 and 30, which falls right in, those people are going to become home buyers. Those people are going to be looking for opportunity. So it tells me that this is a platform that I can create content for the future clients and customers. I can create content now, though. So I have to start speaking their language. I have to start speaking to them. I have to figure out how I am, my angle, and how I will communicate with these younger generations. But I see an opportunity there. And when you see 20,000 views, that means they're watching it. They're watching the information. I just got to captivate them and keep them interested over the next 5, 10 years. I'm in this business for the long run. I've been teaching since 2007. I plan to continue, but I have to build rapport with the new audience on the new platforms. It's just like, I'm trying to think. It's kind of like television. Like, if you think about it, so I grew up watching the show. Think about if a lot of you all grew up watching this show, Different World. So we watched Different World, and we watched the growth from Dwayne, and we watched his peers grow throughout the show. And then there was a new generation of college students that came in, right? But that new generation that came in to the show, Jada Pinkett, Tupac Shakur was in one of those episodes. They brought a whole new culture to the show, a whole new style, language to that show, which was a platform, right? That show, the writers had to learn how to speak to the younger generations to keep that show running. I think it was on for like 11 seasons or something, 8 to 11 seasons. So that's 2 generations, maybe 3, covered in that particular show. So this just goes back to one of the past episodes. I talked about how content is the new currency, and there are platforms being born where we're able to create new audiences. So that's not even on the list of things I want to talk about today, but I had to share that. So if you find me on TikTok, my name is REI Success Maker on TikTok. So Rehab Mastery, we're going to go through a recap of that. The housing market forecast. Zillow just sent out a forecast on the current housing market. They've been doing it for the last couple of months. I'm going to share an article from Fortune magazine that I read today, and we'll skim through it, and I'll send you all the link to that article. Really good article. Direct Mail Wednesday. Got a new direct mail piece here. Okay, got a new direct mail piece here. Going to talk about it. So what we'll do is we'll talk about the front of the postcards on these episodes. In the next episode, we'll talk about the back. So we'll be a two-part Direct Mail Wednesday. We're also going to talk about the Freedom and Wealth Seekers Academy. It's coming soon. I have a new case study. This is really a throwback. Annette Spriggs. Some of you may know Annette Spriggs, seeing that case study, but I want to dive deep into that case study. And we mentioned YouTube. So folks, let me share my screen here. Share screen. We're going to jump into the article shortly here. And a case study. So you all should be able to see my screen right now. All right. This is from Fortune. All right. The housing market boom has at least another year to run. Zillow economists predict. Now, if you all recall on past podcasts, I always say, when I read an article, I look at it from a lens where can I find the opportunity between the words? A lot of people read what's in black and white and say, that's the law, or that's what it's going to be. We got a year left to make money in real estate. There's so many perspectives that one can take by looking at an article like this, right? Fear, greed. People can become conservative. With all due respect, you have your own opinions. But I look at this article, and look at the platform. It's Fortune magazine. It's a trusted publication. Zillow, they've been around almost as long as I've been in real estate. Okay, one of the first real estate websites I used, and I still use today. Now it goes on to read. I'm going to skim through this, and then I'm going to show you where the opportunity lays. The data is clear. The pandemic housing boom, which has seen U.S. prices soar almost 20% over the past year. So right in that first sentence, I find that information, that first sentence, very valuable. Pandemic housing boom. All right. So a lot of us will be here 20 years from now. Hopefully, there won't be another pandemic. But if it happens again, right, we can potentially predict there could be another housing boom, because history has showed us, in 2020, real estate rose. Okay, so put that in your back pocket. Write that down. During the pandemic, there was a housing boom that took place. Now it goes on to say what's going on. Soaring mortgage rates. I thought this was really good information. Soaring mortgage rates, which have climbed from 3% to 5% over the past 5 months, are leading to what economists call demand destruction. It's easy to see why some would-be homebuyers are backing off. If a borrower took out a $500,000 mortgage at 3%, they'd owe a little over $2,100 per month. That exact same mortgage at 5.25%, would have a $2,700 payment. So we're talking almost $600 more, or an additional 244,000 plus dollars over the course of the 30-year loan. That is a lot of money. But the housing boom isn't dead in the water just yet, at least according to Zillow's revised housing forecast. All right, now I'm going to read this and I'm going to skip to a diagram. While the forecast Zillow published this month is a downward revision from the one it published in April, it's still fairly bullish. Over the coming 12 months, the Seattle-based real estate firm predicts that U.S. home prices will climb 11.6%. That's down from the previous forecast of 14.9, really 15% year-over-year rate. But it would still mark an appreciation level that is more than double the average rate of 4.6% posted in 1987. Folks, I love that this part of this article. There's a lot of articles out there that really don't give you any meat. This article sprinkles meat throughout. All right. And I look at this from this lens, real estate, buying a property, right? Buying a property. If you've owned a property since 1987, if you just go off of that 4.6% average rate of appreciation for the next 20 years, I'm not talking about the 11% or the 15% or the 19%, in some markets the 20, 30% appreciation rate. If you just go off of 4.6% a year, so if you buy a property for $25,000 today, you all can do the math later. You rent the house out. You may have 2 or 3 tenants throughout 20 years. You may have 1 tenant, but you hold on to that property and it just appreciates 4.6% over the next 20 years. Do the math. Like that's virtually a guaranteed rate of return. And we're just being conservative at 4.6. Now, I've said many times on the podcast, depending on where you're at across the country, you could be between 4% to 7.8% in yearly appreciation value. It averages out to that. You will have some down years, but you're going to have, history shows us. I think the last statistical data I shared dated back to the 50s, that you've had more years of appreciation than declines in the market. So real estate is truly, I believe, one of the safest bets when you're investing in real estate. Folks, I did not share the disclaimer. Don't forget, folks, any information that I share is for informational, educational, and even sometimes entertainment purposes only. Before you make any type of investment decisions, make sure you consult with a licensed professional before moving forward. So let's go down to this diagram. I thought this was really cool. I actually just shared this on my Instagram story. It says the degree to which regional home prices are overvalued or undervalued according to Moody's Analytics. Now, Moody's has been around for many, many years. Before I was in real estate, they're a data research analytical provider, well respected across many industries. The fine print underneath the diagram says, if a housing market has a negative percentage, it means home prices there are lower than expected when factoring in local incomes. Now that is a nugget. So this is a map of the United States. The first place I'm going to zoom in on is my hometown. Look at Maryland over there. They're saying that the prices are lower than expected because the incomes are higher. So that must mean home prices, properties are undervalued. That's how I look at it. I mean, now back in the day when I was in school, I sometimes used to read things backwards. So I'm gonna read this again. I want to make sure I'm getting this right. If a housing market has a negative percentage, it means home prices there are lower than expected when factoring in local incomes. So I'm looking at this chart. It says 6% negative when you're in the yellow, and you can go all the way up to 73% overvalued. So let's click. Pittsburgh must be 4%. Maryland must be 3. That's what I take when I click these. So I'm clicking through these. Philadelphia, 8. And remember I said this. Let's go Jackson, Mississippi, 0. -2. Baton Rouge, Oklahoma, Lawton, Oklahoma. So I'm looking for like the inner cities. Chicago, -1%. So I made a statement not too long ago. I said, there will be a time where we will not see any more ghettos in the inner city. Like most inner cities will be gentrified. And as you hover over this map, you can see like Montgomery. I was just down in Alabama. A lot of development opportunity there. You can just click around this map and see that there's still a lot of opportunity. Like the purple, Miami. I mean, the purple, these markets are thriving. So the opportunity that I see when I read this article, I see that there's still a lot of ground to cover across the United States. Just looking at this diagram in regards to undervalued property, and as an investor, that's what we want to purchase. And depending on what niche, whether you're a landlord, rehabber, inventory is everything. As a wholesaler, definitely. Now, there are so many different ways of bringing deals in, but when I see undervalued cities and towns across the United States, I also see, from my experience, depressed neighborhoods, most likely, where the housing stock hasn't caught up with the incomes in these communities. So this is a very interesting article. I'm gonna copy this and put it in the chat. But I look for opportunities, and if you all, from my students, definitely know that I'm looking at other markets, Atlanta, I'm looking at Indiana, I'm looking at North Carolina, of course, my market, Philadelphia, looking for more deals. Because of the internet, we're able, and the resources that we use, like uspropertysearch.com, we're able to reach property owners all over the country. And we're able to pinpoint distressed neighborhoods using tools like, free tools like this article. I look at articles like tools. So I'm going to put this in the chat. Folks, if you haven't gone over to our YouTube channel, REI Inner Circle, this is where you can actually watch all the replays. Also, I share different types of content on this channel, whether it's me walking through a property, showing you the exterior of a property. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell as well once you subscribe so you get an alert when new content is published. I'm going to be shooting a lot of new content in 2 of my latest rehabs. You don't want to miss what I'm going to be sharing in the next couple of days. I'm going to be going through a home inspection report. I'm going to share that on YouTube. I'm also going to be talking about the wholesaling business as well. A lot of folks want to get started in wholesaling. So direct mail Wednesday, I got this pretty postcard in the mail, right? Got this pretty postcard in the mail. It says, got a problem? Property? Let me help. There's a nice little logo. Now, this stood out because it's purple. I've never seen a purple postcard since I've been in the business. Kimberly Jones, well, I don't know why I know that name. You sent me, Kimberly, if you're a freedom and wealth seeker, let me know. You sent me a really nice postcard. The only thing, Kimberly, is I never received another one of these. This would have really stood out. Like, so this, I'm sharing this with everybody. Purple stands out. Most of the postcards I received are either yellow or pink or white, and sometimes green, but not purple. So that stood out. All right, that stood out. So I wanted to share that. Next week, I'm going to share what she wrote. I'm going to break that down. I'm going to critique it. And it's going to be, I think this is going to be some great, she hit it right on the head, really simple. We're going to break it down next week. We're going to break it down next week. The people are still logging in. I love it. All right, so this is Annette Spriggs. I want to share this case study with you all. Annette is from Washington, D.C. I'm going to let her share her story. I want you all to hear what Annette has to say. You should be able to hear this.
Hi, my name is Annette Spriggs. I'm originally from Washington, D.C., but I currently reside now in Lando Hills, Maryland. And I'm here today just to introduce myself, tell you a little bit about myself. I currently am a legal secretary in a law firm in Washington, and I've been interested in real estate investing probably for about 8 or 9 years. I spent the first year or so sitting on the sidelines trying to study and figure out what it was I was supposed to be doing. Then took some action, signed in with a couple of area coaches who really were supposed to be like my mentors, but didn't really provide any coaching or help whatsoever other than to sell me some programs. So I wasted a lot of money buying those programs, not really getting very far. I did get a couple of deals though when I started hooking up with a girlfriend of mine, and that went well for about a year. And so after that, I got burned on a deal and got a little disappointed and disgusted with myself and the industry and stepped away. But about a year and a half ago, decided I wanted to come back into the business because I had gotten laid off from my job. And about 3 or 4 months ago, I met Mike and Marcel at a seminar. And so I contemplated whether I was going to join another group and decided to take the plunge after Marcel and I talked a little bit. And I am glad that I did that. So I had actually received some emails from Marcel probably for the last year or so and didn't really pay a lot of attention to him because I was figuring, it's just another, somebody trying to sell me something. But my girlfriend went to one of the meetings and invited me. And she said, you really have to come listen to Marcel. He's really good. I really think he's the real deal. And I was like, okay, finally. So she drugged me to a meeting and I showed up. And again, like I said, I met both Mike and Marcel there and had a conversation with Marcel, and he made me an offer that I felt like I couldn't refuse. So I jumped into the coaching program and I have not regretted it since. I learned more the first training session with them that one Saturday than I think I had learned in probably 6 months with some of these other coaching people, which were national programs as well as a couple of local coaching programs. So I was really impressed with them and got really excited, motivated, and started taking action. And here we are, 4 months later, and I'm just closing on my first wholesale deal. So I can't be more excited and can't say enough good things about the both of them. So, I work all the time, and it's really kind of challenging to have a 40 plus, 50 plus hour day job and try to do real estate. But like people have said, if you really want something bad enough, you'll find a way to make it happen. Again, this time it worked for me because I had Mike and Marcel on the side helping me out, giving me inspiration, giving me tips of what to do next, answering questions that I had. I think that really is what has made the difference for me, is knowing I have some really local support to call. They're always available when I call them or text them, ask them questions. So it's been very helpful. As you can see, I'm excited. I can't say enough about them. So I'm really excited to be in the coaching program, and would recommend it to anybody who's looking to get into real estate investing, who feels like they need a helping hand. These guys really are the real deal. They will be there to help you step by step, and help you close deals. So if you're looking for that, I say come join us.
How much did you make on your first deal?
Well, I have a check here, and it says close to $55,000, which I'm still finding unbelievable, but that's what it says, so that's what we made. That was our profit.
Could we show the check?
Sure.
Amazing. Folks in the chat, let me know, could you use an extra $55,000 this month? Let's put a yes in the chat. I'm sending you the Fortune 500 link, for the Fortune magazine link. Could you use an extra 55,000? So, I want to elaborate on Annette's story. Annette said something key. She said that she had been receiving emails from me for over a year, and she thought I was just like some of those other guys that was trying to sell her something. And I never forget, she came, I was holding meetings in my local marketplace, and she came and she sat in the back after the seminar, and she told me, she said, Marcel, if this isn't everything you're saying it's gonna be, you're gonna have some big trouble. You're gonna be in big trouble. And I didn't know her husband was like the leader of some motorcycle club. I mean, I didn't want any trouble with those guys. But Annette and her best friend, they have done really well in real estate over the years. And I wanted to share that because I know a lot of you, I met somebody that was at the Rehab Mastery. Annette also said she had learned more in one day than she had learned in many years with some other experts. I don't know if it's a style that we teach, but I believe it is. We keep it very elementary, hands-on. And Saturday, I met someone just like Annette who had been following me for years and decided to come to an event Saturday. And it was absolutely super duper impactful for her and the other students that attended Saturday. So I wanted to share that case study, and maybe every week I'll share another case study. We have hundreds of those case studies, but more importantly, I want you to be the next case study, the next success story, holding up a check. So the folks, I know, look, there are 22 people in here. It must be 17 people in here that don't need an extra $55,000. Looking at these comments, you folks must not be on your phone, on your tablets or laptops or desktops. So I'll give you a pass if you're listening to the Zoom on your cell. So folks, if you're watching a YouTube video and if you could use extra 55,000 this month, put it in the comment section. Put it in the comment section. So Rehab Mastery, what went down? I kicked off the event with some stories of deals that I've closed in the past. I also went through my rehabbing process. So over the years, I've hired general contractors. Okay, general contractor is someone that pretty much hires everybody else, and you're out of the way, you pay them, and they manage and pay everybody else. All right. I've had project managers on deals that I've done. That's somebody I just pay, or you could pay to just manage all the general contractor, they can manage the subcontractors, they manage the materials, they manage the inspections, everything, the permit process. It's up to you what you want to do. But I shared my process on how I run rehabs. I sent out some texts today. You actually saw the early text when we were walking the neighborhood. So we actually, it was like 95 degrees. I wanted to walk about 3 to 6 blocks, but there was no way we could do that. So what we did, we just walked right outside the front door of this project that I'm working on, and there were 3 or 4 rehabs right on that block. And then we walked to the corner, and there were about 8 rehabs on that block. Later that day, we did a driving tour and visited another property. Throughout the day, though, I was able to bring past alumni to the stage. We had Charles Eddington, who taught us about business credit, who taught us and broke down, more importantly, was very transparent on how he was able to give his wife $150,000. We had Derek Anthony come to the stage to teach us his rehabbing process. Remember, folks, the processes and the foundation that I teach, you all can build on. You can create your own system. So Derek has built up a 6-figure rehabbing business. And come to find out, he is actually rehabbing the house next door to the house that I recently rehabbed. All right. So there will be another Rehab Mastery. We're going to go on and call it Rehab Mastery 2. We're going to keep this thing going. All right. We're going to keep the Rehab Mastery going throughout the year. So again, it's going to be a very small setting, 10 student max. We had 9 sales, 9 registrations. The limit is 10. That's it. 10 students. Once they're sold out, they're sold out. We actually had 1 seat open. If you look at some of the pictures on Instagram, you see that 1 seat in the very front that was open the whole time. So Freedom and Wealth Seeker Academy, okay? Annette, she came through one of my academies, all right? The academy was a monthly fee, all right? Before I went on and just did strictly one-on-one and some group, we had an academy, all right? Back then it was called DMV REI United. Some of you remember that. But again, now we're able to expand and impact more people because of Zoom, because of the internet. Okay, back then it was, Annette, I need you to call this phone number every other Thursday and listen into a training call. Now we can see each other. Okay, now you can text me. All right, it's so many ways of communicating and helping people knock out their goals and close deals. I'm super excited about the academy that will be launching very soon. Again, the price for the academy is less than a car payment. The average car payment in the United States is about $600+. And the reason, one of the biggest reasons why I'm holding this academy is because I know what's coming. All right. You read articles like this, there's going to be a correction in the market. We don't know if it's going to be a housing crash or recession. We're starting to hear that word now in the mainstream media, recession, housing bubble. So I've been here before. And I understand everybody's not going to be able to work with me one-on-one. Okay, my price for one-on-one, those prices that a lot of you know are still the same prices if we go into a recession. But what I'm going to do is for less than a car payment every month, it's $347. A small cash outlay of $347 every month. You're going to be working directly with me on a monthly basis. I'm going to roll out the red carpet soon and let you all know what you're going to get. And I'm already getting folks let me know. I appreciate Denise. You reached out last week. You're excited about this. This is something, I understand where we're at in this country. I see people need to make more money, but people need to be able to do it and not be stressed out. So that's why we're opening up the Freedom and Wealth Seekers Academy for just $347 a month. There's no obligation, no tie down. If you can't make a payment one month, you just won't have access to the resources for that month until you're able to jump back on. But this is something that, gas may hit $6 soon. This is my way of giving you all more access to the information that you need to build a successful and sustainable, profitable real estate investing company. And I'll tell you, people are making money right now, but the worse the market, the more money you are going to make as an investor. Because again, this is real estate is long term. So if the market depresses, that means prices are going to get lower. If you're in a position to buy when this happens over that 2 to 4 year period, and I'm only speaking facts from when I went through the recession of 2008, the market came back around 2012. So if you were buying property in 08, 09, 2010, 2011 for pennies on the dollar and held those properties up until the next boom, you made a lot of money. You made a lot of money. So folks, I am going to, I like that, Latrina. Yes, I want to make $55,000 a month. When we roll out the enrollment, we're going to be taking the first 30 students. Once we hit 30, we're closing the enrollment. So the goal is 30 enrolled students, and we're going to enroll folks all over the country. All right, all over the country. And we're going to cover local government foreclosures. We're going to cover wholesaling. We're going to cover rehabbing houses. We're going to cover building up your business credit. Okay, we're going to cover rental properties. And we're going to have a ton of special guests, from home builders to developers, truly building a community of freedom and wealth seekers in honor of our ancestors. Folks, I'm excited. I cannot wait for the Academy to launch very soon. Folks, I'm going to see you on podcast 23. We got a special guest brewing. I got a story to tell on my birthday, May 30th. So I'm thinking, I know I'm rambling here, it's 8:44. I'm thinking that either I'm going to pre-record the video or go live. But I am going live on my birthday, May 30th, on Instagram. I'll tie in YouTube. I don't know. I'll try to figure it out. But I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna share that story on what took place. It was a shocking event for me as a kid. This is like 1988, 89. I was like 8, 9, or 10 years old, and I'm not gonna go into it, but I'm gonna share that soon. Folks, let's keep making it happen. Keep inspiring each other. And I look forward to seeing you at the closing table. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.